Hey guys! Today is a very exciting mail day for me because I just got the last piece of my Staresso package. Staresso is a company that makes portable espresso machines, grinders, and a ton of really cool accessories. And a few weeks ago, they reached out to ask if they could send me some products to try and review. Of course, I agreed. I am always super excited to try new things, and a portable espresso machine is something that I've wanted for a really long time. We're gonna do a little unboxing, and then I'll be trying all of these things out for the first time right here with you guys. And I will say they did send these things for free, but they do want to hear my honest opinion. This is not a sponsorship. There is no incentive for me to give a positive review. So you guys will be hearing my completely honest, unfiltered thoughts as I try these things. I cheated a little bit and went ahead and opened my first box since it got here so much earlier. And out of that, I got the Mirage Plus portable espresso maker, as well as the Discovery 2 electric grinder. And this other box, I'm assuming, is just accessories, so we'll be opening it together. I can't believe how generous they were with this. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so much stuff. Finally, for the main attraction, I have been staring at this thing on my countertop for the past week, absolutely dying to open it, so this is a much anticipated moment for me. First impressions are good. It feels really sturdy. It's got some good weight to it. You could definitely get any espresso glass or probably even small mug that you wanted under here. There aren't a lot of specifications on grind size or anything like that, so I'm just gonna shoot for like an average espresso grind, something that I might use with the Breville. It doesn't have any dose recommendations either, so I guess we're gonna go with 18 grams. And then it basically explains how to manually extract. And it does say to use 150 to 180 milliliters of water, 95 degrees Celsius or higher. So we're gonna start 95 degrees. Water-wise, I'll just shoot for the middle and do 165 milliliters. And we will see what happens. So this grinder is on a 0 to 11 scale. I've had to consult their website for some reference points, and it says here that settings 2 and 3 are the fine settings, and that's what they recommend for their portable espresso machines. So we are gonna go ahead and grind it at 2. So setting 2 is an absolutely powder fine grind. Admittedly, that's much finer than I would grind on my Breville, so I'm really curious to see how it affects extraction on the manual. I will say I'm really impressed with the grinder. Again, I got an impressively fine grind out of it, and it looks like it's relatively consistent. I don't have a particle size analyzer. This is not that kind of channel, but from what I can see visually, I am a huge fan of the grinder so far. Full disclosure, this is my own personal WDT tool. I was not sent one by Staresso, but I just can't imagine prepping a puck without it. All right, so let me give my first critique so far. All of this is magnetized and it all stuck together as I pulled the tamper out. So I'm gonna have to very carefully separate these things. I understand, obviously, why this little guy is magnetized to the basket, but it does cause all of this to come out as one piece. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit crazy operating without a puck screen either, but I really wanna try to keep the use of my own personal tools to a minimum, and if I were using this on the go, I highly doubt I would bring all of that with me. This might be a healthy exercise for me in learning how to make good espresso with a more minimal setup. first shot. I'm obviously not seeing a lot of crema here, which I think is more on me because I have looked through a lot of photos and videos of other people using this machine, and the Espresso has beautiful crema, so I'm sure there's something that went wrong there in my extraction. It said to shoot for 1 pump per second, and I think I was pumping a little bit too fast. I'm really curious to try this and see what it's like. This will not be the last shot that I pull today because I want to do the machine justice and judge it based on a shot that's been properly extracted by a person who has used it more than once. So we're gonna try this just for fun and then get going on the next shot. It's honestly not bad. It doesn't quite taste like espresso to me. On the strength spectrum, it's kind of halfway between an espresso and a filter coffee, which is really interesting, but I'm really not tasting any standout negative flavors. It's not astringent, it's not really bitter, there's no sourness. It's really good. It's just not espresso. But what constitutes espresso aside, as far as the actual taste of this, I really like it. I could see myself diluting it down with some hot water and drinking it just as a traditional cup of coffee before I could see using it in something like a latte. But let's keep pulling some shots. Let's see if we can't get something a little more espresso-like. I just looked back at the extraction video I took on my phone, and it took almost a minute to get this out. I thought the grind size was a little bit fine. I am gonna try grinding a little bit coarser to see if that helps. And this time I'm gonna turn my kettle up to 100 degrees Celsius because the fact that this was drinkable straight out of the machine and the total lack of crema both say to me that the temperature was not high enough. So next shot, coarser grind, hotter water, let's go. Shot number 2, the crema situation is much better. So slightly coarser grind and hotter water were the way to go. I also noticed that the flow was a little smoother this time. It wasn't just kind of erratically dripping like the first shot. So I think I'm on the right track as far as a recipe for this thing goes. It is really encouraging to see, at least visually, the extraction improve and for the final result to look a little more like espresso. So let's try what we have and see how it tastes. Again, really good. I'm getting a lot more brightness and flavor out of this shot than I did the last. Just another thing to reinforce the coarser grind size being the way to go. This coffee is a nice fruity natural, so I would expect ideally to get some of those bright citrusy flavors. Definitely getting that out of this extraction. Again, density-wise, I'm not sure that I could call it a traditional espresso, but I do really like it. I think it tastes great. I think the characteristics of the coffee have been highlighted really beautifully. Like I said, with the last shot, my impulse would be to water this down and drink it that way, but the company did send me a portable hand frother, and I just cannot move on without trying this thing. So we are gonna froth some milk and see if this shot is dense enough to use in a traditional milk drink. Frother produce the same milk texture as a steam wand? No. But can I pour latte art to save my life? Also no. So I'm gonna assign the blame for what you just saw about equally between the hand frother and my own user error. Beyond aesthetic or texture or my terrible latte art skills, the most important question is, does it taste good? Yeah, the answer is definitely yes. Taste-wise, I really have very few complaints. Texture-wise, it is a little different from what you'd expect out of a traditional milk drink. The density just isn't there out of the espresso or the milk, so you don't get that same like thick, frothy kind of mouthfeel that you do out of a normal milk drink. And that reflects in flavor just a tiny bit. The taste of the milk does swallow the espresso a little bit more than it would had the shot come from a traditional machine, but you can still taste the notes in the coffee. There are no obtrusive flavors. This tastes objectively good. If I got this at a cafe, I wouldn't complain about it. Again, the only thing throwing me off is the texture, the mouthfeel. It's much thinner than you would normally expect out of a latte. To wrap this up and give you a final verdict, I was super, super happy with everything I got to try today. I think taste-wise, this is an excellent little machine, and I'll give it bonus points for being forgiving. If you are new into coffee, I highly recommend this as a first home setup. It's super affordable, it's really easy to use, and even if your grind size and your water temperature aren't dead on, you'll still get a really serviceable coffee drink out of this. Taste-wise, across the board, I'm incredibly impressed. I think especially in my second shot that was more properly dialed in, the extraction highlighted the characteristics of the coffee I used just like a pour over or traditional espresso machine would. I was so pleased with the flavor. Obviously the only downsides are in texture, but I will say I think to expect that same heavy, rich mouthfeel and body that you would get out of an espresso pulled with a traditional machine or out of a milk frothed with a steam wand would be a little bit unreasonable. Do I wish my milk drink would have been thicker? Yeah, absolutely. But do I also think the setup does its job really well? Yes. I could absolutely see myself taking this whole setup with me when I travel. If you're also someone that travels a lot, I would highly recommend this. I think even with the density issues, what you'll get out of this setup is far, far better than what you'll get out of some random hotel room coffee machine. I think bottom line, for the portability, the ease of use, the price point, this is something I can recommend as long as you can temper your expectations when it comes to the body and the density of your espresso and of your milk. Hello from my editing station the next morning. I just wanted to cut in really quick and talk a little bit more about the grinder, because in the review that I filmed yesterday, I focused almost exclusively on the portable espresso machine. And I did go back this morning just for a well-rounded view and grind on a coarser setting to make a V60. And I will say, I think espresso is really where the grinder shines. In my coarser grind, there were definitely some fines, a little bit of inconsistency. Honestly, the taste of my morning coffee wasn't affected that much. I would say the flavor profile of the cup was just slightly less clean than it would have been had I ground on the same setting on my Comandante. But I still do hold to the opinion that for the price point, the grinder is great. I looked on their website. This grinder retails $150. I have never seen an espresso capable grinder that affordable. Again, if you are new into this, if you're looking for a first setup, I do fully endorse this grinder. For travel, I fully endorse this grinder. Would I use it before my Comandante after seeing the way that it grinds a medium coarse? Probably not, but I do think the grinder is perfectly capable. Again, my cup of coffee was still enjoyable, and the next time I'm traveling, especially if I have my portable espresso machine, I will absolutely take it with me. I am so, so grateful to Staresso for sending me all of this. I had a lot of fun learning all of this new equipment. I will enthusiastically be keeping everything they sent me in my own personal coffee setup. I think all factors considered, this is a great product that I can honestly recommend. Thank you so much, Staresso. Thank you always to you guys for watching, and I will be seeing you again very, very soon.